Hi, I'm Richard Gibson. I am the principal attorney with Gibson Law PC. We are a real estate and business litigation law firm in Woodland Hills, California. What we do for a living is get justice for people and for businesses whose rights have been violated in a real estate or a business transaction. That's kind of abstract. Let me give you a specific example of what I'm talking about. Let me tell you about a case we had recently. We had a client who spent a great deal of money building out a high-end restaurant. Now, he did this in one of the most prestigious upper-end shopping centers in all of Southern California. He did his homework. He picked a good location, spent a lot of money. He was trying to do a very upper-end job, run a very good restaurant. He made one huge miscalculation, which is he didn't know who he was dealing with as a landlord. Now, this is understandable because on the surface, this landlord was a reputable landlord. Multi-billion-dollar business, owns hundreds of properties. You'd think they'd be professional. But this landlord is cheap. This landlord doesn't spend money repairing or maintaining any of his buildings. My guy didn't know that. He moves in, he spends all this money, and his restaurant quickly runs into a wall because the landlord lets the place fall apart. We've got a real nice fountain, pond fountain right outside the restaurant. First thing you know, water gets covered with green, disgusting scum. Next thing you know, they drain the pond, surrounded with police tape, never refill it again, never repair it. The elevators taking you from the parking lot up to the restaurant frequently don't work. People often get stuck in them for hours. The concrete in the parking lot isn't maintained. Chunks of concrete fall off. Fortunately, nobody gets killed, but there were some near misses. You get the picture. The place is literally falling apart. And as you can imagine, this drives my guy out of business. You cannot make a profit as an extremely upper-end restaurant under slum conditions. So he comes to us. We bring a lawsuit. We say the obvious thing, which is, landlord, you've agreed to maintain this building in proper condition. You haven't. That's breach of contract. That's obvious. We take it a step further, however. We say, landlord, when you promised to maintain this building in proper condition, you knew perfectly well you were not going to keep that promise because you don't maintain any of your buildings. You don't have enough people on staff to maintain the building properly. There's no way that you intended to do this job right. So in addition to being breach of contract, this is also fraud, exposing you to punitive damages, and so forth. That's the case. We bring it in downtown Los Angeles Superior Court. We argue it to a jury for a week. At the end of that week, the two clients sit down together, do a settlement, which is worth $2 million to my client. This is an example of the kind of work that we do. I could give a lot of other examples, but I think that covers this for now on that side. I wanted to cover another side of this question, though, which is the whole how we as a law firm interact with you as a client. Now, I know when you have a issue requiring a lawyer, that's scary. There's usually a lot of money on the table. This is something that's frightening. It's outside of your area of expertise. The whole thing is just scary, and you're afraid if you pick up the phone and call a lawyer, it's going to be expensive. The phone call itself is going to cost you money. It's just very uncomfortable. Now, I want you to understand, we don't do business that way. The first call to us is always free. I like to keep it simple, relatively low pressure. Here's what I do. If you call, I just talk to you to figure out, okay, what is the problem? What is going on? I will talk to you long enough to understand what the issue is, what all of the issues are. And I then give you, with no charge, an evaluation of your situation. If you don't have a legal case, I'll tell you bluntly, you don't have a case. Please don't waste your money. Don't hire me. Don't hire anybody. You don't have a case. if that's the situation. If you do have a case, however, I'll tell you, you have a case, here are your different options. Here are the different ways you can approach it, and here's what they're going to cost you. It's important because sometimes you can resolve a dispute with a simple letter from a lawyer. Sometimes you have to actually bring a lawsuit. There's a lot of different things you can do, and they cost a whole range of different amounts of money. I like to discuss that with you fully. Reach an agreement. If you hire us, you're going to have a written agreement. We're going to understand, we're going to agree on strategy, we're going to agree on budget. We need to be on the same team. Our whole approach to litigation is we are aggressive, but we try to be cost effective, and we work in close cooperation with the client. We keep you fully informed. Our experience is if the lawyer and the client don't trust each other, if they're not on board with each other, this isn't going to end well. So we do our best to communicate at all times, always keep you in the loop. If you have a business or a real estate problem, please feel free to call us. If we can help you, we'd love to.